SMP is one of the best confidence restoring treatments out there, but only when done correctly. I'm gonna go over 7 key points that I see in the industry the most when it comes to SMP that has gone wrong. Today I'm gonna show you what can go wrong with SMP, why it happens, and how we can fix it. If you're considering SMP or you've had SMP and you're a little bit unsure about it, this video is gonna help you. My name's Will Quay. I'm a clinical trichologist and specialist scalp micropigmentation artist, helping you guys that are struggling with hair loss. Okay, so first things first, most SMP that has gone wrong is fixable, but that will depend on what the issue is. It could be a number of things: technique, spacing, depth, healing, skin type, aftercare, the list goes on. I'm gonna break it down for you. Number 1, the dots are too big, they're blurry, otherwise known as blowouts. So obviously when we first do SMP, you know, the impression should be as crisp as you're gonna get them. Over time, they may start to blur out a little bit, but right at the beginning, they need to be crisp, and that is the most important thing we can do as artists to make sure your SMP is gonna look and stand the test of time. So if your SMP is looking blurry from day one, instant red flag in my opinion. So although SMP is a tattoo, and I stand by that, it is a tattoo, we're not trying to make it look like a tattoo. Now, I've got friends that have had their heads tattooed, not with SMP, just a traditional tattoo, a nice bit of artwork on their head. That's a tattoo, right? Although SMP is a tattoo, we're trying to not make it appear like a tattoo. It should be undetectable. So when you have them dots that are too big, blurry, i.e. blowouts, that is what is gonna make it look so unnatural and the opposite to undetectable. This happens for a number of reasons. Now, the artist might have hit the ink too deep, pressure might have been completely off, speed, the control of the needle, and even just like a wrong needle choice, you know, based on the skin type that they're working on. You know, some skins we work on are like butter, literally just the needle just takes it. Other skin, it requires a little bit of work, you know, so you have to know what skin you're dealing with in order to be able to create that perfect impression. Okay, so how do we fix this issue? First things first, we need to assess it when it's healed, not fresh, healed. So once we can see the healed result, we can then make a decision on what we're going to be able to do in order to fix this type of SMP that has gone wrong. Now, if the artist has only had 1 or 2 sessions and there's a lot of negative space, chances are we might be able to go in there with proper depth, proper impressions, dance around all those nasty ones, right? And blend it out and make it look a lot better than what it once was. If these impressions are all over the scalp and it's completely oversaturated and it's just a dark mass, then unfortunately this is probably the worst thing that can happen. Now, there'd be no point for me or anyone that would want to fix this is saying to you, yep, no problem, come in, we can just do our impressions on top, because putting ink on top of ink is just not going to get you out of the situation. It's not going to help you. Now, although it might sound like a long thing to do, trust me when I say it is worth it in the end. I would suggest getting laser removal. If you are going to get SMP again, get it done so it's light enough that we're able to put our solid impressions and make it look a good job. If you're not going to get SMP again, then obviously just go through your sessions until you can basically not see the SMP again. This would be my advice always, because I think although it takes longer, it's quicker, because you're going to get the result you need, you're going to be happy for the rest of your life, and essentially that is all I want, that is all you want. So, you know, take your time with it, be patient, we're going to get you fixed. Okay. Point number 2, your hairline's too harsh, too straight, too unnatural, too low. So this type of hairline, look, don't get me wrong, there's certain people that this can actually work. You can have a low hairline, you can have it boxed off like a barbershop edge up. It does work for a certain type of person, but just not everyone. We're all completely individual. You know, you can't just go, I want what he wants, I want what she wants, or, you know, blah, 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 blah. You need to do what's right for you. And sometimes these straight, harsh, solid hairlines look completely unnatural. Now, you can do a sharp hairline, you can do a boxed hairline, you can do an edge up and make it look natural. I'm not saying you can't, you definitely can. But the ones that just go and just stamp it on, I don't think it's a good look. Now, I hate talking about negative points. This video is a little bit negative, but I'm trying to help you in regards to how can we fix this with a positive. So in my opinion, it's not a good look. So I think this kind of hairline, now depending on what kind of person you are, this hairline's going to draw attention. Now people may notice and go, hang on a minute, you know, you look different and I can really see you've had something done. Now if that's you and that's what you want, sweet, you know, that's the hairline for you. Most people that we deal with here in our clinic, they don't want that. They just want a natural, undetectable look that no one's gonna bat an eyelid to. You could walk past them in the street and no one's gonna question that you've had something done. Now, it's hard to get your head around this because obviously it's an investment on your part. And I say this to my clients when I have my consultations or when they're in the clinic, it is an investment on your part, but it's an investment that you're hoping no one's gonna notice. Now, that's a kind of weird investment, you know, when you think about it, but it is the one you want, trust me. So, how do we fix this? I hear you ask. You've had this hairline done or you're considering this hairline and you're like, okay, well, I don't want that anymore. I want to change the hairline. Now, if you've had it done in a way where your hairline's quite high up on your scalp, we can drop your hairline and soften it. So we can change the shape and start to soften it. However, in order to do this, we need to drop it a good 3/4 to an inch, I would say, in order to soften it. Because all you're going to do, if you're going to just drop it down a couple mil, 3 or 4 mil, 5 mil even, right? And I was switching from metric to imperial, but excuse me, I digress. Dropping it that tiny amount, it just ain't going to do a lot if your goal is to soften it. Now, you really do need to drop it a bit. Now, if you've had your harsh hairline or your solid hairline and it's really low down on your face, now the only option you're going to have is, like I said in the previous point, laser that shit off, push it back up. I mean, in this case, if you're happy with the impressions everywhere else, it's just the hairline you want to change, you might get away with just lasering that band at the top of the hairline and then getting your hairline redone, reshaped and softened. Okay, point number 3, density done wrong. I've said it before, density needs to be done right. So telltale signs for this is, you know, it's not blending with the client's natural hair. It's too dark in certain areas. So you might get patches or clusters where you'll see high density and other areas where you'll see low density. So this usually happens when, I'll be honest, I think people are rushing, you know, when they haven't really got time for you. They're just trying to slam it in there and see you later. But, you know, if someone is to take their time with it and really concentrate on equal spacing, I think the spacing needs to be equal throughout the whole scalp. That is the mission, that is the job. Obviously, when you're working with hairlines and stuff, and depending on what hairline you're gonna have, you're gonna change the density slightly, but for the majority of the scalp, you want the density clean, you want the spacing the same. I'm by no means saying this can't be done in one session. I'm just saying we do it in 3 sessions, and the reason for that is we can space your sessions out equally. We can see if we come across any problems, taking all the risk out of getting SMP. So if you want to go darker, sweet, we can do that. If you want to go lighter, sweet, we can do that. If you want higher density, sweet, we can do that. If you want lower density and you don't want too much, sweet, we can bear that in mind when we do the next session. These are all the things that I feel are important and the reason why I do it over multiple sessions. So if you've been left a lot of negative space, how we fix it is by re-spacing, basically. So we would have to put our impressions in there and try and equal everything out. Hopefully we would have multiple sessions to be able to do this, and as long as the pigment's light enough, we're gonna be able to fix it. Point number 4, wrong technique for the type of skin type you're working on. Now, we work on multiple skin types: oily, dry, thick, thin, old, young, numerous, right? So when we're working, we have to think on our feet and know what we're dealing with. We can't just use the same pressure and the same technique, as it were, on every single scalp. We're trying to hit that layer, that same layer of skin, even if your skin's thin, thick, oily, dry. We just got to adapt the way we work in able to hit that layer. So things that go wrong, you may see poor retention, so the pigment not quite holding in certain areas, or the pigment fading out a little faster than it should. So again, why this happens is the same technique's been used on multiple scalps, different levels of scalps, like I explained before, and that is why this can happen. So multiple sessions, this comes in clutch when it comes to this, because we're looking for feedback from you, from your skin, for when we work every session. Now, if we feel the skin was a bit tough, we might go a little lighter in the beginning just to see, because we're, you know, not scared, but we don't want to, you know, get into a problem where we're blowing out your skin. So we'll come back and see how that's healed. Now, if it is a little light in areas, do not panic, because the second session and the first session, you can go, Okay, well perhaps I can apply a little more pressure or be a little bit more stern with my impressions. You wouldn't get that. If you'd done that in one session, you wouldn't get the opportunity to do that. So come the second session, that's what we're gonna do, and in the third session. So when it comes to this type of SMP, different skin tones and different skin types, if we're working with a particularly hard case, there may be more sessions required. Now, this is absolutely normal, do not panic. If you are one of these guys and you need an extra session, so what? Just get the extra session, get it done till it's done right. Point number 5, your SMP is too dark overall and it's not leaving any negative space, i.e. the bowling ball head, the swimming cap head, the snooker ball head, whatever you want to call it. All these names are used for oversaturated SMP. So with this SMP, there's no realism, there's no artistry, it's just one block color and there's no scalp showing through, i.e. there's no negative space. And I've said it in previous videos before, the negative space is just as important as the impression itself. Why does this happen, I hear you ask? So it is the artist just overloading, saturating, trying to get it to look like something's been done by oversaturating the scalp, putting too many impressions. I personally think this sometimes happens when you use too small impressions. Now we talked about big impressions, blurry, blotchy impressions. Yes, that's too much. But in my opinion, the impressions need to be solid and they need to be sizable, in the sense of if I'm standing like, you know, a meter or two away, not in your personal space, but a normal distance from where people stand, you still need to see them impressions. Now, if you can only see those impressions when you zoom super close in, that artist is gonna have to put so many impressions on your scalp for it to blend into your hair to make it look like you're not bald anymore. It's not even funny. So this is why I think the impressions need to be solid. I'm not saying big, but solid. Now, they may look bigger on the first session because nothing's surrounding it. As soon as you get the second session and the third session in, then you've got other impressions helping those first and second impressions. It all just comes together. Now, this goes back to my video about trusting the process, knowing where you are, what stage you are, and what to expect, and not to freak out. So unfortunately, if you're rocking around with a swimming cap, chances are you're gonna have to get laser removal. Now again, I'm not saying this like a bad thing, this is a good thing. You can still be helped, just get it gone, get it removed, and let's go back in with proper impressions so we can leave a decent amount of negative space in order to get the density correct for your SMP. Point number 6, poor aftercare. So in my opinion, poor aftercare can cause fading. Now, I'm a little bit of a rogue when it comes to aftercare. Now, 90% of the industry all go by this 4-day dry heal rule. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong. You can do that if you've got super sensitive skin, you've got allergies to the aftercare products that we use, or you've got super oily skin. You probably won't need to use the aftercare I use. But in most cases, I believe you're better off dry healing for the first 6 to 24 hours just to let the skin do its natural wound healing. But after that, you do need to treat it. Now, you do need to clean it the next day. We can give you tonics or foam, an antimicrobial wash just to get rid of all the nasties. Once all the nasties are gone from your scalp, we can then apply a thin layer of balm just to lock that pigment in. Now, your skin's gonna wanna dry out loads in comparison to a normal day. It's because your skin's reacting to what's happened. There's trauma, so your skin's trying to fight it, and by fighting it, it dries your skin out. Now, we wanna soften that because if the skin dries, you're gonna create yourself more scabbing. If we get more scabbing and that scabbing pulls, it could pull the pigment. Now, our job is to retain the pigment, not pull the pigment out. So the more pigment we can retain, the better, cleaner result you're going to have. So we've done a whole video on aftercare. We've even got a blog post on our website which you can go and check out based on how we do our aftercare. The same usual rules apply. No swimming, no sauna, no sweating. When I say no sweating, you're going to sweat probably, but no excessive sweating. Now, we're just trying to take all of these factors out. So if anything does go wrong or doesn't quite work out how we thought it was going to, we can go, okay, well, it wasn't that. It wasn't this, it wasn't that, and we can just deal with the problem at hand. After the 4 days of our aftercare, you can wash your scalp as normal. You can wash your scalp as normal, and please definitely do this because I have had clients, you know who you are, that haven't washed their scalp because they're too scared, basically, to touch it. After 4 or 5 days, you can touch it, you can clean it. Nothing too harsh chemical-wise, nothing like a psoriasis shampoo or an anti-dandruff shampoo. Just use your normal, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I use Radox, right? A normal hair and body shower gel, something like that. You can wash your scalp and then you can use either the moisturizer that we provide or any moisturizer, for example, Palmer's Cocoa Butter. Point number 7, and probably one of the most important points when it comes to SMP that has gone wrong. Now, that is controlling client expectation. So this could be when a client is, you know, upset the SMP is not good when it is actually banging SMP. Maybe perhaps it's not his fault because he was expecting one thing, or he's been shown one thing and he's got another. Now, this can happen, and this can be industry fault, because a lot of people use videos and photos out, and I'm not going to name and shame anyone, but it goes on, and if you've got an eagle eye, you'll be able to clock it. They do things to their photos and they do things to their videos. Now, if that's you, I mean, look, I'm going to go off topic here because I'm into my fitness, right? It's the same thing as, look, people look good online. You see them, you see their bodies, and you think, oh, wow, he looks good, she looks good. They might be using performance enhancing drugs to make themselves look better than a normal person. Now, if you're doing that, just tell them, because you're still not going to get in good shape if you're sitting on a sofa eating bowls of Frosties every night and looking wicked shape, even if you're using performance enhancing drugs. Now, if you're using performance enhancing drugs, just be open and say, yes, I'm using performance enhancing drugs. Same goes to you guys out there that are fucking around with your photos and your videos, sharpening them, changing the lighting to make it look a certain way. If you're doing that, just say you're doing that, because then the client is not going to be disappointed when he doesn't get what you're showing on your photo or video. Now, when it comes to our SMP, and I can't speak for everyone, our before and after gallery is very, very transparent. I tell everyone what I'm doing, and I do not edit anything. So I literally use my iPhone, and currently it's an iPhone 12, just for reference, in case you want to know and check it out. I literally take the photo. I'll show you actually. This is how old my phone is. I literally take the photo. I might crop the size. That's about it. And I might put a logo on there. That's it. And it goes straight on the website. Now, if you've been a client of ours in the past, you will know if you're in the clinic and you've got an iPhone, I will take those same photos and those same videos, and I will airdrop you those photos and videos. So when you look at it at home, when you're analyzing your SMP because you love it so much, you can go, damn, Will just sent me those photos. Now, people often inbox us and say, how'd you get your photos like that? How'd you get your videos like that? Listen, if you do good SMP and do it correctly, that's it. Just take any photo from anywhere and it will look good, okay? Understand? Comprende? So yeah, it's very important to align client expectation when it comes to SMP. That is why we're so open and honest when it comes to our results, because I know that when you step foot in our clinic, I'm confident, because anything I've shown is what it is. You know, I'm trying to give you the best opportunity to see it without seeing it in person. And if that is a thing and you do want to come and see it in person, by all means, give us a call. Book in, we can arrange a time and a day for you to come in and see our client in person whilst he's getting his SMP. Okay, so that's the end of the video. That's what can go wrong with SMP and how we can fix it. So just to summarize, most of these issues are avoidable if you pick the right artist, the right process, trust the process, and just be patient. If you've had SMP before and you're not happy, drop a comment below. If you found this video helpful and you're still on the fence for SMP and you're considering SMP and these points have helped you, please subscribe to the channel. We have got tons and tons and tons of information when it comes to hair loss and SMP. All of our details can be found on www.scalpnation.co.uk. See you on the next one.